Hey everybody. So I am back, and I know I said I was going to do detail painting in the last video next, but the more I looked at this, and sometimes you have to kind of change your game plan, the more I thought I need to start with a red wash over the entire model, but particularly to blend where I've highlighted it a bit, just so it doesn't appear as red, yellow, orange, red, like there's a bit of a tie in there. And if you've watched videos on object source lighting, I've noticed that it's a pretty common technique where you create a contrasting light. Let's say you have like a torch and you have it on somebody's shoulder, leather jacket. The leather jacket's brown, the torch is yellow. You might have a bit of a dusting of yellowish orange color blended, with a dilute solution onto the shoulder. But oftentimes you'll take a little bit of a brown wash and just kind of go over that just to make sure that it's not too contrasty, and you kind of play with it. I'm going to do the same here, and I've already got my paint mixed. All I really need to do is get my glove on, which I forgot here. And so I'm going to do that, and once I'm satisfied with that, I can actually, off camera and later, I can highlight more if I want to bring that yellow back, if it takes it away. I think that's the biggest risk here, is all the highlighting I did in the last video could, if this wash is too concentrated, could get washed away. Now, what I'm using is it's called a Transparent Acrylic Wash Lovato Rojo Red Shade, and I believe this is actually made by Vallejo. Yeah, it is. See, it's made by Vallejo. And I had used it on the Fire Drake, or you might have seen earlier, or the Rage Drake in the earlier video. It actually came out pretty good. I thought it was pretty potent, so I'm a little worried that I might do exactly what I said, but I added a couple of drops of water to it, just to be a little bit on the safe side. So here I go. I'm going to start by just testing it on the wings here before I go right on the head. So it seems pretty mild at the moment. I've used a lot of it already, actually. I'm coming up here on the red up here. Yeah, actually, it's kind of nice. It's just adding a little bit of red on there, but not taking away the work that I did. Oh, and I forgot to mention, before I did this step, I actually I made my own satin wash from Vallejo acrylic, the Vallejo gloss varnish and matte varnish. I made a 50-50 solution and sprayed the model down. This was done to protect my work. If you ever needed to remove it, you could get it back to some degree. But then also, with washes, you oftentimes want to get into the crevices, and that's the way to do it. So I'm just looking here. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but I think there's a bit of a nicer blend into the orange and to the top here. And if you look at the top here, there's a bit more red in the very top, but it's still lighter from all that work that we did in the last video, or I did. Okay, I'm out, so I just need to put more in here. I wasn't sure how much I was going to end up using. I tell you, I'm really glad that I'm doing this. As I'm seeing it come out, it's just creating such a nice blend. I think it's exactly what I've also obviously been thinking about the miniature, and I often do that just in between, just to see whether things are going in the project the way I like. And this is just giving that little bit of. I mean, I'm worried that I'm darkening it too much back towards red, but it's showing a nice blended look. That is what I was hoping to achieve here. Even on the dark areas, I'm putting a little bit of this red just to where I just don't. It's dark, but it just doesn't look as red enough to me. That's going to be harder to cover. But it's added a richness to the color variation, I think, that I did not see before. It was much more just contrast before. This has added a nicer blend. It's funny because when I look through the camera, it looks very washed out with the fluorescence, but when I look into the naked eye, it looks much nicer. My experience has shown that when I put the video up, that's taken away, that it's just the viewer screen through the camera that I'm looking at. Hey everybody, so I am back. Since where I just left off, doing the highlighting, I did one additional thing, but I didn't do it on camera. And basically, I did the same exact step I just did by applying the lighter, that sort of orange highlight, the mix, and then doing the red wash. I actually used just pure Ahsardalon Sunset. To get even more of a yellow, to do exactly even more of what I just did. I guess just kind of kick it up a notch, so you can see it's a bit lighter here. And then I did the wash again. And so essentially I liked how it came out, and I just wanted to do a bit more of it. I didn't feel the need to do it on camera since I showed this technique. So really all I would do is just not mix the blazing orange and yellow together, just use the pure yellow. And so that's where I'm at. Now I'm at a step where I'm going to be base painting. So my plan is that for the teeth and the claws, I'm going to be using Screaming Skull. For the horns on the side of his mouth and the sort of claws that are on his wings and his shoulder here, I'm going to be actually using the scarlet red that I painted him with, but I'm going to be diluting it with a little bit of skull white, or white scar I should call it, in order to create just a lighter color red, essentially. I didn't want the sort of teeth bone white color all over the model. For some reason I don't always like the way that comes out. I find that it, for me, dilutes it a bit. I like to have some variety. I'll be doing the eyes yellow with this Ahsardalon Sunset, and then I'll be doing Ahsardalon. I think what I might do, I've been debating this. I've been debating whether I'm going to do this, but because I use this as the highlight, I find I have a problem conceptually painting it straight here, because I think it's going to detract from the highlight. And so rather than do that, I think what I might do is actually paint the sort of chest carapace also with this lightened red. And so that's what I'm going to aim for. I'm going to also do the rock that he's standing on in Mechanicus Standard Gray. And I think from there, that's primarily it for the base painting. For now, I'm not going to do anything with these sort of ribs. I know some people will paint them sort of the structure of the wing, the bones of the wing. Some people will paint them all white or all black. I was debating what to do. I might dry brush them later with this same light red color that I'm kind of talking about now. Here you can go, you can see that sort of, how I got that yellowing in there. With this here. Okay, I'm not going to paint the base painting on camera for the detail. I'll be back in just a little bit.